Hi, happy Thursday. I'm going to have a chat because I've got so much running through my mind. And yesterday was the same. By the way, I've been up since I couldn't sleep last night at all. I was awake, I don't know, a long time. And I finally gave in and sort of woke up properly at like 3 o'clock in the morning. It's 10:30 now, so I'm getting quite tired and... yeah, I won't be able to go to sleep, which is always fun, but I always go to bed early anyway, so 7 o'clock I am looking forward to. Oh gosh, so anyway, yesterday was really very weird because after my last video and sort of acknowledging this need to push what I believed, you know, this flat earth stuff, then yesterday, maybe some people might know about this, you know, but there's a channel, The Crow House, Max Egan, and he did a video yesterday and, you know, basically, yeah, sort of claiming that the earth is flat and then, you know, going on to sort of give his sort of take on how it's a game and we need to move into the next level and stuff. And to be honest, when I saw his first little video, because he did a little 6-second video going like, folks, I have to tell you, the earth is flat. And I was like, oh, brilliant. You know, what funny timing as well, after I'd been like, well, I really should feel like I should sort of say this. And so I was excited, because when I've listened to him in the past, he seemed much more... I don't know, I guess coherent than his video yesterday, which was just so weird. And so, yeah, I watched it and I was like, this is intense. Like, the feelings that I got watching his video were really weird, like, because I think I had expectation there as well, you know, like, just like, oh, he's going to, like, give some really good flat earth proof now, you know, to make everyone go, this might not be as crazy as some people think it is. And instead, you know, he just sort of did a video like I'm doing now, just rambling. But, you know, from an interesting psychological point of view as well, you know, like I've watched it 2 or 3 times now and I'm like, what's going on, you know? It sounds to me like, you know, he's had like a Kundalini awakening and, you know, the white light coming into his pineal gland, like... I've experienced that before. I was tripping on mushrooms, to be fair, but the white light came for me too. But I remember, and you know, like I've said before in previous videos, when I went through my most vulnerable stage of the awakening, I too thought I was the chosen one, you know, and that's one of the things that makes me laugh the most now, and it's just kind of really strange, you know. It's like it's something that I think maybe we all go through, or maybe it's just those of us with a thicker ego, who knows. But yeah, so, you know, he was claiming he was like the one, the chosen one, and there is only one and all this. And yeah, it's really sort of strange. And, you know, somebody else said it's kind of like the complete opposite to, you know, oneness, isn't it? You know, claiming that you're the one. So, yeah, it was very strange, but like I said, I've definitely experienced many of the things that he was talking about in terms of my own type of internal download, you know, during strange happenings during the awakening, basically, you know. So, you know, after watching it a couple of times, I was just like, I think maybe he's just sort of... having his moment and he's documenting it, and maybe he'll pull himself back in, you know, in a bit. But then there was this other side of me that had this huge sort of like strange like fear of missing out, like, hang on a minute, I don't want to get stuck on this fucking level, so, you know, what if what he's saying is true and blah blah blah. Oh, so I got myself quite embroiled yesterday, but it was really funny because I woke up and I said to the kid's dad, oh, I'm going to get my glasses on today. I feel like being Miss Marple, you know. And yesterday was just strange as fuck. It was like everything that I watched on YouTube seemed to be like people sort of like sharing their truths in the most strange, panicked way, which I feel like I kind of felt in my last video. That's what I was sort of saying, you know, and I'd felt this urge on myself, and I was like, hold back. But I feel like everybody else has sort of not held back. Everybody sort of went for it yesterday, you know, with these sort of the panic to share their own truth. So I don't know what the fuck is going on, you know. I really like this guy, this Max Egan, and I know I've seen so many videos about this since yesterday, you know, people calling him a shill or whatnot, and I think things like that are just as funny, you know. It's just like, who gives a shit? Who are we to know? Take what resonates and don't, you know. But it's just so funny how fickle and vile people can be when, you know, their own belief system is questioned. And yeah, it's just pretty interesting, you know, and all this sort of MCO shit as well. But anyway, what I've been sort of thinking about this morning and chatting about was more sort of the psychology of the I haven't watched Billions. I saw a couple of episodes of the first season, however long ago that was. But the kid's dad's been watching it, and he was telling me about this scene, and he was just, you know, talking about the psychology of it all and how the two main characters are so interesting, and, you know, all the outside characters as well, and talking about, you know, how he sort of watches Netflix in the same way that I watch YouTube, is just sort of sussing out someone's psychology and motives and going, well, I wonder what that could be. What are they? Why are they the way they are? And, you know, watching the journey. And I feel like that's what I do when I'm watching YouTube sometimes. I feel like I've always had this sort of, you know, what's going on type of observation. But I'm also aware that I think we do this, you know, and we go, oh, did you see this video yesterday? You know, he must be mad because this, that or the other. He must be... And it's to try and work out, again, our own truths. And, yeah, it's kind of not fair how we use these people, whoever it is, you know, as a scapegoat. Yeah, I don't know what I'm feeling. I'm feeling funny. But anyway, yeah, we were talking about that flip-flop point. You know, that point where we were talking about our experiences with our own parents and how they could flip-flop. It's like my mum, she's so nice and funny, and, you know, she's a great team player. Everybody loves my mum, but if you step over the line with my mum, you'll fucking see what happens. And I'm kind of like that as well, you know. I'm a lot like that. It's like, we were talking about that word banter, you know, and I've personally never liked it either as well, because, you know, not only does it set up the expectation of some, you know, great night, but it sets each other up, you know, competition, who's the funniest, let's have a funny time and banter, but really what it ends up being often is just another sort of sly, sneaky way for us to passively, aggressively, you know, throw sort of verbal stones at each other. So super duper interesting. I said that because I forgot what I was saying. The flip-flop point, yeah. And so, you know, we were just having a sort of chat about that, and yeah, my dad used to flip his shit seemingly out of the blue as well. It was obviously an energetic bottle up, and I see that reflected in, you know, me and my brother. And so I you know, I'm very realistic in the way that I look at things that I've been programmed to see, believe, or, you know, ways in which to act, or what I feel, you know. I'm just always going, you know, is this parental programming or is this you? And quite often, you know, it's a mixture of both. But yeah, so I'm always just trying to work out the origins of these fucking, you know, these undesirable, I don't know, actions from people. But yeah, the flip-flop point's really interesting. And I was thinking, you know, more about that flip-flop point that you get to where, for men, you know, it'll be anger or, you know, something to just put the frighteners up you. And, you know, some women are like that. I'm like that as well. Like I said, if you take the piss out of me in not a good way, then, you know, it's like I will sort of rear up. I'm not a pussy. I used to hate that word. But I could say cunt, you know, so that's backwards as well. Programming. Sorry if I offended anybody with the swear word. So, yes, I'm just trying to work people out. I'm like, what's going on? Because I am aware that narratives and movements are driven by influencers with the most sway, the most, you know, whatever. And I like to look at comments, and I don't like to see the nasty comments, but it's interesting, and it's also interesting to see just how sort of susceptible people can be, and how the hive mind is driven. So, yeah, the Max Egan's video yesterday, it just needs leaving alone. You know, it's like that's his truth. That's his truth, and who are we to sort of question that? I'm really looking forward to his next one, because I feel like, yeah, this sort of Miss Marple on steroids in me is still rearing to come out, and so annoying, because all this took me off track, because my video was saying that, so I was like, this is weird. Like, I know this guy's never sort of, you know, been a sort of proponent or a speaker about this before, so I was just like, what the fuck? And the things that I have listened to from him, I feel like I've heard his soul talking. He seems to be a really lovely man who cares about humanity, but, you know, who the fuck do I know? What do I know? But yeah, we all can't wait to make our counter videos and our reacting videos, and, you know, let's all jump on the bandwagon, whichever bandwagon it is, and, you know, let's all, I don't know, it's just so strange. So there's definitely some collective shift going on. There's like panic and purge, and, you know, I'm just sort of like just trying to work shit out, because this sort of this driving of the apocalyptic scenario, you know, doesn't seem to be ending. It seems to be homogenizing and solidifying, and, you know, I'm still over here going, guys, what the fuck are we doing? You know, we're creating things ourselves. Oh gosh, isn't it funny? So anyway, God, so much interesting shit yesterday. I've got to go now. 12 minutes, that's not bad. I look like absolute dog shit. I thought, I came in here and I fucking switched the light on, and I was like, right, you know, have a chat. And I was like, oh, Jesus, you're gross. So I went outside, put a bit of makeup on with this lipstick, came back in, it was way darker, looking like a fucking drag queen. So I was like, oh, shit. Actually, that reminds me, I'm going to put a video down from Posey Parker last night, and it felt like she was sort of pulled to blurt her truth out last night as well, and yeah, just this strange panic. But I'm really sort of, I'm with everybody, no matter what your truth is. It's like, let your heart speak, let your soul speak, and, you know, who are we to judge or judge anybody else? But anyway, yeah, the only other thing I wanted to say that I'd written down here was orbs in the sky, and I've done a couple of videos about this before and mentioned it, you know, here and there. But when I started awakening, and I was staring at the sky more, I just noticed, you know, so many things. And the persistent thing that has always boggled me, and it's not floaters in my eye, I just know it's not. I can tell it's not, because the shapes are always different, but of the same grouping. I could draw them all down, like, but I feel like somehow that's a key for me. You know, there's certain shapes and configurations of these orbs of which I see, and I've tried to describe them before. They look like circles, small circles in the sky, and they are either on their own or they're coagulated into some kind of configuration, and they move about the sky in different trajectories. Usually it's from where you see it down. But like I've said, I've been before in other videos, as crazy as this sounds, I feel like I've interacted with them with my consciousness before and brought them to different places, or they've come closer or whatever. So I was looking at the sky for quite a long time yesterday, and I really got myself in that zone where you're looking at nothing, but you could pick which layer to look at, you know, a bit like those magic eyes you used to have in the magazines. And the orbs looked really different yesterday, and they looked like they were in the sort of shape of like an animal. But they were not in a configuration with space between them yesterday. They were all joined together like some worm type thing, and it really reminded me of something that I'd seen on somebody's video once, where they felt like they'd been interacting with some kind of extraterrestrial, and this sort of like tentacle thing came down on the screen, and you see it for a couple of seconds and then it vanishes. Well, it was kind of like that, but like translucent. And the only other thing I've seen that sort of resembles it is there's a channel, a lady called Linda Perez, and she looks at webcams from around the world, and she just shows you some crazy shit. And there's always these sort of electric eel-like looking orby, you know, translucent type, you know, almost like an eel, an electric eel, or a you know, something like that. So they look like that. But anyway, I saw loads of them yesterday. Today they've gone back to the normal configuration, but again, it sounds crazy, but I just wondered if anybody else sees shit like this. I also see like wispy, translucent but darker grey, small patches of what look like thin mist moving around the sky, you know, at different times. But these orbs are, you know, they're just really, really interesting, and so I would like to know if anybody else sees anything. You know, I'm not talking about clouds, sun observations. I'm talking about, you know, the layers in between. And, you know, I've seen like what looks like grids before as well, in lines, and yeah, it's pretty interesting. So yeah, I just wanted to know if anybody else sees anything like that. And I'm gonna get off now. Extra 5 minutes. Could talk for fucking ever, but I've got to go. Righty ho. I hope everybody's feeling well. It is super fucking crazy. I think, although I feel like I want to dig into so much stuff, like Miss Marple on steroids, I think it's like it's time for me to stop looking at these truther videos, you know, for a few days until I'm called to have a nosy again, because it's too intense. And the way my mind works, I'm trying to figure out everything as I'm watching and listening to something, and it's I wish I would give myself a break sometimes, but my mind just works like that. And so I'm watching the audience, I'm looking at the comments, I'm listening to it, I'm looking at body, you know, I'm just like, oh, but I'm having fun, you know. I always wanted to be a detective, so I'm feeling like that today. Detective dog. My left ear is bright red. Left for love. Look at that. Right for spite, left for love. Right. Love, love, love. Happy Tuesday. Bye.